Rainbow Dreams Educational Foundation presents the 22nd Annual Las Vegas Juneteenth Festival, Saturday, June 17th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Expo at World Market Center. Join us and celebrate Juneteenth Freedom Day as we welcome R&B diva 702 back to Sin City to perform their biggest hits. This event is free to the public. You heard us, free. For more information, visit us online at june19lv.com. That's june19lv.com. Powered by Zappos.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah, Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help.
All right, Las Vegas. It's Thursday. It's 3 o'clock. Greg Deville again in the studio discussing more great information. Listen, I don't know if you have solar or not, but you need to. Here's what I want you to do. I talk real estate and I talk solar, right? So in the real estate market, you need to own the American dream, which is home ownership, number one. Number two, you need to fire your landlord, right? Hear me good. Fire your landlord. And I want you to get this home, and I want you to fire NV Energy. I know, you say fire, I need power. I'm getting ready to give you solar energy with no money upfront cost. You're going to do away with the energy bill and use solar. Deville Solar Marketing Group, along with Deville Realty Group, are sponsors of today's show. I want to thank Hot 702.5 FM for the opportunity to talk more to the listening audience about real estate. Now, real estate being by far one of the greater investments outside of the stock market and insurance. Real estate is something everyone needs to have. Because remember, you have it every day, right? You get up in real estate, you lie down in real estate, but do you own the place that you lie down and get up? Do you own that piece of land, that piece of real estate that is considered to be yours? Now, if you do not, I have some new programming that's out. If you were here last week, you heard about my talk show guest, Christina Graham. Christina has several pieces of marketing for no money down programs. Now, the great part about it is no money out of pocket. Now, I love no money out of pocket. When I got solar installed on my home, it was no money out of pocket. Don't you love? Can I get a witness to somebody that say, I love no money down. I love no money up front. I love getting it done without cost. Initially, right? No upfront cost. You get the opportunity to have it installed on your home. And your first payment with solar isn't due until 45 days after it's installed. Now, guess what? You're on a fixed plan. There's no more Listen, opening up your energy bill, man, is like getting a doctor's bill what the insurance didn't pay. It's scary. It's scary. I went to the emergency room about 6 months ago. The bill came for what my insurance didn't cover, and I'm telling you, it just, oh boy, it messed me up. Now, keep in mind, have the opportunity for yourself that you can have this home without money down, and you can have this solar. So I'm going to get you keys. I'm going to get you solar, so that both of those together, you're going to get, you're going to fire the landlord, as I mentioned, and you're going to fire NV Energy. So working with Deville Realty Group and Deville Solar Marketing Group, we have advantages to our business on both ends. So don't forget, contact me at 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Team Deville, 702-349-0162. That's the number you need to call. My team is on standby. We want to talk to you about the solar and the home ownership. The great advantage is that wealth is created through equity. The wealth being created through equity. What does that mean? Every month you pay down, you pay your mortgage, you're paying down on the principal. Now, you can pay that 30-year principal off, that mortgage payment, in 30 years, or you can pay it off in 15 years. In the meantime, the property is growing equity. The slogan for Deville Realty Group is creating wealth through equity. So recently, my wife and I refinanced our home, probably almost 2 years now. The advantage is that we were able to take up to 80% of the value. Now, we did an appraisal versus what we owe to the current market value. There was over $235,000 in equity. Now, if we weren't the owners of the home, the owners would receive that $235,000 equity. Now they're able to refinance and receive 80% of the equity. Now, in the 80%, that was $184,000, somewhere in that number. Now, we were able to get 180, but we didn't want 180. 80 took care of what we wanted to do, down some credit cards, some things, Waikiki, pay everything off, just enjoy, right? My payment went up by $100 by simply taking the 80% or taking $80,000. Now remember, refinancing, you can get up to 80% of the value based on appraisal value. Okay, so again, we only owed $268. They came in at $510, owning the house for 5 years. Now we were able to reduce our interest rate from 4.25% to 2.99. Now, right now, it's not a great time to necessarily refinance, but to do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Now, if you're listening to me and you own a home, you may want to consider some investment properties. Or if your home isn't large enough or you got more space than needed, take the equity out of the home and either buy a fourplex or maybe get a larger home or downsize if that's what you're feeling you want to do. Simply do it not by touching your savings, not by touching the money in the bank, not by getting a business loan or any of that. It's simply using the home equity line of credit, the HELOC. Now, with that HELOC, we just sold a home to a family there in Henderson. We're living out near Summerlin area. They had a decent 4-bedroom, but the yard space, kids are getting larger, bigger, needed more yard. They wanted a pool. They heard me talking about the HELOC, the home equity line of credit. Take the credit, take that HELOC. Now take that. Now $85,000 is what they were able to. They wanted. They took the $85,000, paid down some bills, and when they paid down some bills, it increased their credit rating. Credit score went up. The advantage to the credit score going up allowed them to get a better rate when they paid off some debt. Right? And they were able to put 10% down on the next house. So they bought a $600,000 home, put $60,000 down simply by using the equity that's already in your home. So with that being said, contact me personally, Deville, Greg Deville, 702-349-0162. That's the name you need to know right here in the Valley, the largest black-owned real estate firm in the state of Nevada. We got our own song. Isn't that nice? We had an engineer who said, Deville, I got something for you. You're going to like this. I hope you heard it as an intro. But call Greg Deville. He'll show you how to do it and get to it. So we're creating wealth through equity. I'm having so much fun. I enjoy my radio talk shows. It gives me opportunity to give you information. So whether buying, selling, or investing, Deville Realty can help. Now, I have a guest that's coming on today. Many of you may know Denisha. She's been around. She's a wonderful person, has a great business, and we're excited to talk to her today. So let me introduce to everyone Denisha Mingo. Hello, young lady. How are you today?
Hi, Mr. Deville. How are you? I'm wonderful.
I am doing great. I'm excited. I'm glad to have you as a guest. I wanted to speak with you. I've been trying to get you on my show for a while, so it's an honor to have you with us on today to speak to some of the things that you have upcoming. So take a moment, if you will, and give us what you got coming up. We want to be a part, and thank you for sharing in on our Wealth Mindset Conference and your sponsorship and taking part in that. So tell us what you got coming up. We'd love to hear more.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you. And before I talk about my stuff, I do want to say that your theme song was a vibe. I was in the backstage, look, just vibing to it.
Right. Thanks to Icy Jones, Mr. Icy Jones. Yes.
So actually, I just was with Icy Jones at his conference, his mental health seminar a couple of weeks ago, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So for those of you who may not know me, I am Denisha Mingo with an N. And I'm the owner of Mingo Health Solutions. We've been around for 7 years providing therapy and counseling services for youth and families, specializes in trauma, crisis, and behavior intervention. And we also do services for kids who are on the autism spectrum. So anybody out there who, wants some ABA services for their child, we do them in clinic, in home, as well as in schools if they're in a charter school. So you can give us a call at 702-848-1696 or visit the website at www.mhsbs, like Boy Sam, mhsbs.com to learn more about our services. So I've started MHS, but there's not but. And one of the things that we started doing a few years ago was a program called Healing to Health, which is bringing the dialogue of mental health to the faith-based community. So, most things I do are mental health, empowerment tools. And I saw that there was a big need for mental health awareness, as well as access to services in our community, and specifically our minority and Black communities. So MHS actually started Healing to Health. And then I founded a nonprofit called Solutions of Change, which provides free counseling and therapy to those who are uninsured. And so we moved Healing to Health under Solutions of Change just because it made more sense being a community program. So we have that coming up, our sixth Healing to Health program, but our third annual full-day conference on Friday and Saturday, July 14th and 15th. And so one thing that's really important to me is ensuring that people have tools. So we bring the awareness, the education, but then it's like, well, what do I do? And kind of going into like even what you talk about, like this wealth mindset. People need tools. That's why I love what you do. I listen to you. I used to listen to you a lot more on 88 before I started my PhD program. Just got busy.
I get it.
But you provide like tools and tips. And so my goal is that anyone who encounters Healing to Health has tools if they never make it into the therapy room. So our conference on Saturday has mental health workshops, intervention workshops, and faith workshops. So by the time you leave, you'll have gotten one of each. You have options. We have phenomenal speakers. And I can go on and on. I know this is a dialogue, so I want to stop there and see if you have questions.
So and you know what? I appreciate what you bring to it's so needed. It's so many that are with issues without coverage, without having the benefits. I know my daughter, and I'm going to connect her with you. She tells me, Dad, it's hard to find the help. You know what I mean? She's of age. She's an adult. However, but having someone that they can reach, that can actually reach them. I don't know, right? So every family has people in their family who could use the help, the guidance, to give them how to deal with themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's valuable. Yeah.
And I think what part of like breaking the stigma around mental health and even in the faith community is to help people understand that you don't have to be everything, right? Your pastor doesn't have to be your counselor. Your parents don't have to be your counselors. Like, they're there to be your parents. They may not have the tools to give you what you need. And so a part of this is creating a robust support system. So you got your parents who can parent.
Right.
You may have your friends, your cousins, aunts and uncles, mentors, peers, still your clergy, but then you might need a professional. And like you said, we all have people in our family who we have seen on the more severe end of the spectrum. But another reason to break the stigma in regard to accessing mental health care is that, you know, maybe I'm not severely depressed, but I'm going through some life changes that I want to bounce some things off and have someone help me navigate. You know, we want to get to a place where you can go, you know, once a month or every few months as kind of like a check-in, like you go to the doctor, just so that you have that preventative care, because like life is always happening. Our body goes through things and we never know when we might need the help.
And see, you know, for what I've had to realize is we need to learn to accept it.
Yeah.
Right. Quit putting it that there's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. Don't speak that over your life. And people say, Dad, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm like, girl, nothing wrong with you. Speak life in Jesus' name. Tell the devil he's a lie. But in her mind, it's really something. She said, Dad, it's like 5 personalities. I said, girl, if you don't stop telling me you got 5 people living in your head. She said, I said, girl, why did you do that? She said, Daddy, that wasn't me. That was Keisha. That's in my head that gave me to do, you know. She's like, Dad, I'm not playing. She's like, I be having thoughts and I'm like, well, I like when you become who I named you to be, right? But the reality is I had to accept there were some challenges she was dealing with. Yeah. And when I when I accept the fact that you should maybe consider some counseling, right? And let's talk about getting the help mentally. So long we have hidden that whole idea of mental health. I'm so glad those of you that do it are bringing it to the forefront. I commend you, because there's more people look normal. They look normal, but in their minds, there's some voices going on.
Yeah. And, you know, I commend you for coming to that place of acceptance. It takes time. And that's why healing and health is so important, especially as people of faith, because a lot of times it is just, you know, speak those things that be not as though they are. Yes, we want to use our scripture. We want to use our tools. Faith is a protective factor against severe mental illness, against suicidal ideations, because it keeps you from going over. It keeps you hopeful. However, when you pray, when you are on that altar and you have gotten, you know, your help, your deliverance, it's the practicing, right? Rebuilding this new mindset, the tools that are needed to actually like walk this out in daily life. And, you know, I know we kind of laughed a little bit about your daughter, but depending on the severity, right? Like that is very serious.
Yeah, right.
Because there are things that are happening cognitively in our mind, psychologically, that really are beyond our control. And they need to be looked at. And so it's more than just praying it away. And it doesn't mean that you don't have faith if you go see a counselor. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, that you have a demon. You know, sometimes there are, right? As spiritual people, but rightly dividing what is and what is not, right? And helping this person heal from whatever trauma that may have happened that is causing them to disassociate or have more severe symptoms. And sometimes it's induced from ways that we don't know. And that's why going to see a professional is helpful, because it can help that person kind of normalize, like, no, you're not the only person who experiences these dark thoughts. So
when we see people who are walking down the street, now that level of case where they're talking and they're, you know, they've totally let go of, like, mentally, they're not that crazy. They won't walk out in front of a moving car. In fact, I saw a homeless guy jump out the way. I'm like, you're not that crazy. But what has happened to that person that has gotten to, I was on my way to studio, and it's a guy walking down the street with no shirt on, but he had a blanket over his head and his body. And it's like 91 degrees or 5 or whatever. Like, what is that person? What state would that be considered?
Well, you know, it really is individualized. There are a lot of reasons that people end up, you know, homeless and in that. So definitely substance use is often a part of that. And when you are ingesting drugs and alcohol, it can have very significant negative impacts on the brain and rightful thinking. Even just being out there on the streets, though, induced right environment is really impactful. Oftentimes people who may become homeless have been through trauma and have had to separate from their families or don't have the support. And then you're not getting the right health care, right? You're not going to doctors because you're homeless. You're not even maintaining yourself. And then it slowly spirals. And then they may disassociate. They might be having hallucinations and delusions. So I can't give the diagnosis because it would really depend on that person and their history. But you know, once you're out there on the street and you've been homeless, trauma can really impact like your mental functioning and how you handle yourself and have you doing things that seem irrational or that you would not do if you weren't experiencing it.
I did speak to a lady. I was getting gas once on Rancho, and the lady was coming up. She was talking to herself, and she asked for money to get something to eat. And of course, you know, you want to give them something to eat, right? But I asked her, I'm like, so what happened? What do you mean what happened? Like, so what trauma took place? She said my family disassociated with me, and it really affected her mentally until now. She literally just lashes talking very loud and, you know, wow. And so, but I think the level that you're doing where people who have, because on the outside they look normal. On the outside their hair's done, their nails are done, they look very normal. But inside there's turmoil. Inside there's so much that, again, they can hold a conversation, but then there's those days where my daughter is somebody else. And I think admitting and accepting that. And I want to see more come. Give us those dates. I think I put on here July 14th and 15th.
Yeah, so you know, since we are talking about the faith-based community, what is important to us is that people understand that we're saying use all your tools. Yeah. We're not saying go to therapy instead of praying and worshiping. So Friday night, shout out to Pastor West and Nehemiah Ministries. We have, a prayer and worship night.
Okay.
So we have some amazing anointed singers in the city coming out, leading us in worship. We're going to have still a word, and we're going to have some mental health education from a clinician. And it's just a short, 7 to 9 event so that we can kind of pour out, right? Okay. We're going to do what we do as people of faith. But then Saturday, July 15th at Culinary and Nevada Partners, that's where we have the conference. We have a host of clinicians and faith leaders in the community leading these workshops. Okay. And we really get deep. So the theme is no more shame.
No more shame.
Okay. No more shame. And all these things that impact us, that we hold on, that cause us shame, right? Shame will cause you some mental health issues. You will retreat. You will withdraw. You're going to carry things that you may have done, things that may have been done to you that were not your fault. And so we are getting out shame. And so I would just encourage people to go to the website solutionsofchange.org, and it lists the workshops, what the topics are. All of them are interactive. It's not lecture style. Like we're on our computers and stuff all day, right? We get very real here, and it's an experience. And so it's just really important because, like you said, even us, I've struggled at times, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I find myself at this place? Or people have family members, and I'm sure I can't imagine how hard it is for you to see your daughter not be in her right state of mind. So even as loved ones, it's hard to deal with that. And so that's why you need the additional support, because it'll break you down just seeing your family member, someone be different, and you can't really support them the way that you want. And so it is many of us who are out here seemingly functioning, working, and we're dealing with this. And so we talk about like abandonment, rejection, anger. They're all specialized workshops. And then we have our intervention workshops. This is one of my favorite parts of it. We do music therapy, movement. There'll be some dance therapy, like things that you can do, art, mindfulness, journaling. And then we have our faith workshops that talk about a variety of issues as well. Like, what does the word really say about this? So we understand that just like God blessed your pastor and the minister of song, he's blessed also clinicians who can help healing you.
Oh, absolutely. My question would be, how do you get someone who thinks they don't like being in those rooms? Well, I don't want to be, nobody understands me. What would you share for someone to just come out with me? I know for me, when I've been sober 22 years, AA rooms were important, the NA rooms and the CA rooms, right? getting someone to this session, what would you say that would help someone convince someone to come? What would you
well, and I do want to mention addiction is actually another one of our workshops, right? So we talk about I would say that, everyone will pump up their stuff. Yeah. Healing health really is one of those things that you have to experience to really know what the atmosphere that's set. But there is healing in community, right? You don't have to come because you're down and out, right? You could come to learn about others. It's not a space of like you're getting therapy, right? It's an opportunity to learn, get some tools just for your healing and your wellness. And then there are people there. Once you are in that space, we have clinicians all around so that you can say, I felt close to this one. Who can I talk to? And in terms of community, right? Healing happens in community. We need each other. And so like you said, when you're in those communal spaces and you see you're not alone, it makes it a little bit more okay to talk about it. And then you got the resources right there.
And then people that look like us, right? I think that becomes another factor that people say, well, they don't deal with, they don't have the dealings we have. They don't live in my community. They don't suffer some of the things that we deal with in the community. So I think that's great to have people that look like me. And so I appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah. You see the flyer. It's for us, by us. We do want to continue to diversify, but we're so committed to this community. We know that Black people, 80% of Black people are Christian and or religious, right, in the United States. Right. So the critical component is that these people also understand that conflict that you may be dealing with as a believer, challenge you may have experienced in the church, right? Yeah. And so that cultural competency piece is important. A lot of times when people say, I want somebody who looks like me, they're really just saying, I want someone who understands. Yeah. But likely the person who looks like you will be able to understand. And so, we have culture, background, faith, like all these commonalities that mitigate barriers to understanding what a person is going to. And, this is really something that I pray about every year. God shows me who the speakers are. We don't just go for, the big names or who's going to bring people. Like it's real. This is serious. It's ministry. It's not your typical conference. You will leave different.
Right. Now, are there any costs associated? What are we talking about when I want to talk more to people I think that may be more interested, that may need some guidance, that this may help, right? So what are we talking about when we consider it maybe sponsoring someone? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's actually $50, but that comes with breakfast, lunch. Matter of fact, no, I think it's $35 for an individual. For those people who are licensed clinicians and they need continuing education units, it's $50 for them because now they get credit for their licensure. And so if you're sponsoring just an individual, though, we do ask for that $50 in case they need CEUs. And it comes with breakfast, lunch. Like I said, the all-day workshops, you get a swag bag. But we do have advertising sponsorships. If you're wanting more promotion and things like that. And those packages start at $1,000. We also have vendor opportunities. So if someone wants to be a vendor, it's $250. And I would just say to reach out to us so we can send that over. We're really trying to partner with churches, though, right? Because we know that people of faith are going to listen to their leaders. And so this is not just for the community. It really is for the faith-based community. And you don't have to go to church to come. But we're really trying to get churches to sponsor their members so that we can make it free for them. So that they can know that, like, we're partnering with your ministries to help you have access to these services. Okay. So now this 2 days, the 14th and the 15th. The 14th is that Friday night. Is that correct? That's the Friday night with the music and all. And that's free. That's free. Anyone can come to Friday.
So the 15th.
You don't have to do both.
So July 15th. So I want to gather a few people that I know talk some interesting conversations from time to time. And again, exposing people to information, I think this platform will be great for. So basically just for, like my daughter, I want her to come because, I think this would be great for her to be able to relate with people, because I think the counseling she's been doing is kind of, a different nationality. So it's been interesting, and then they always want to pump you with medication. Yeah. And that bothers me because they want to say, well, you're dealing with depression, or you're dealing with bipolar. You need to take this every morning, every evening. And some days it's like you're so zonked that you can't lift your head up. Yeah.
You can't function.
Right.
Yeah. And one thing about medication is it's always a litmus test, right? Mm-hmm. If it's helpful, then maybe it's helpful. If it's not, and it's changing you completely and you can't function, then your diagnosis is wrong. The medication is wrong. Mm-hmm. So I see your disdain as a father, because you're like, no, this ain't helping my daughter, right? So that's right. Yeah. If it's helpful, then it's helpful. And if it's not, right. And, sometimes people take medication for a short period of time while they're getting back and able to utilize tools. And sometimes they don't, it's not supportive at all. And so I think what I really appreciate about this conference is that the clinicians who are there, like, they do understand. Okay. And these conversations are able to be had around the different things that people may be dealing with. And for Black people specifically, when we talk about our history here in this country and generational trauma, it is going, and sometimes it doesn't have to be direct, right? It is just sometimes really biologically passed down. And then things look different for us, right? We don't always look like the typical depression that book says, because of how we show up culturally. So somebody could be like, yeah, they're saying this and this and putting you down for that diagnosis, but that's not what it looks like for Black people. Yeah. So again, I'm finding, because this medication thing has been a real issue, because several people in my family have gotten this medication stuff, and I thought, okay. But I noticed when the marijuana came out, now as a co-pastor in ministry, I think that, I know some preacher gonna shoot me down, but I think legal marijuana, when I look at the difference in the effects, right? A person taking whatever that high drug dosage they're giving them, and then I look at them when they're on marijuana, I'm like, well, it's like two different, this one is a downer, like, dude, you can't even move. But the other one is like they've come alive. They've come to a place. It's just interesting. It's just really interesting. I'm excited about this because, again, there's a couple in my family that I want to if I got to come and sit there with you. Yeah. Just to take part, just to show the concern, right? So let's recommend that anybody that has it in their family who's dealing directly with it, because I deal directly with it, right? I'm at a point, you can't live with me, baby, but daddy will pay your rent somewhere, but you can't live with me because of bipolarism. It's just, can I say that word? Bipolarism? Is that the word for it? Or just bipolar? Okay. It's just a bit too much. And one day you're here, one day you're there. Depending on what you took is where you are. So yeah. So I'm going to sponsor a few, and if I need to go to give them a ride. Now you say it's going to be at Nevada Partners on July 15th. What's that time on July 15th for that Nevada Partner? 8:30. The doors open for registration at 8:30. Our program starts at 9 sharp. Okay, we want you to get in, get your breakfast, and it actually, you'll see, we'll have signs out there. It's at Culinary and Nevada Partners, so we'll have some time where we are all together, and then our breakout sessions are happening in Nevada Partners. We're also going to have a panel. Typically, we try to diversify the panel. We might have some psychiatrists talking about medication, these questions. Yeah. This year we have a clergy panel. So you get to ask your leaders, right, questions about what they think. It is interactive, and then we'll start our breakout sessions and have lunch. And I just want to tell you thank you again for pushing it and seeing how people can sponsor and be a part. I know I kind of gave a lot of different ways, but our goal really is to make it free for the community, because oftentimes the people who need it most can't afford to come. And so that cost is really to cover our venue and our food and the cost of our swag, so we can have, that's why it's really low, right? The value that you get is more than that. But if we can get some good sponsorships, we really want people to be able to come out for free or a lot lower cost.
Now, will there be individuals there? So she gets all this good information, and because it's personal now for me, it's personal, right? how do we follow up? What do we do? What's the idea for someone to follow up with? What do you all have for that?
So like I said, we do have vendors who are there. A lot of those vendors tend to be mental health individuals.
Okay.
And then you will be able to identify them. We always have them raise their hand. We actually have a private room at the conference where if you want to personally talk to somebody and have them, maybe if you need the help right then, they can do some intervention, but then they have cards. The way the conference is set up is it's really intimate.
Okay.
So we don't have our breakout sessions bigger than 25 people because we really want that intimate space. And so it is something that just kind of happens organically. And then, of course, you can always call Solutions of Change. If you call us, the organization that's putting it on at 702-445-6937.
Give that again, 445-6937. Okay, Solution of Change. Okay.
We have contacts of all the vendors, all the speakers, and so you could say, and we've had that happen where people are like, oh, this one speaker, I don't remember their name, but now I want to talk to them. And then, of course, it's on the website. Right, all of our speakers are listed on the website when you register, so you can see their name and Google them. And I will also encourage people to go to psychologytoday.com.
Okay.
Most of the clinicians are listed there, and that's a website where you can go and search for a clinician who specializes in what you're doing. But yeah, it is really organic in terms of how you can connect, and we do have private space.
Now, so when they go out into the groups of under 25, is it recommended that that person, like I'm bringing a couple people with me, should I leave them to that session? I don't know how should that go. What?
I think that you have to take discretion because there might be something good in there for you. It is, because it's in a group setting.
Yeah.
We're going deep, but you're not doing one-on-one, right?
Okay.
So I do understand what you're saying. The person you're bringing may not feel as comfortable to share because you're there, but they're getting psychoeducation, they're getting tools. We keep it leveled enough that, a lot of people do cry, but you're not going to be hopefully slaying out on the floor, right?
Yeah. We're not doing ministry, but we're doing ministry. Got you. Right.
We're not doing therapy either because we just can't in that setting. So I would say you definitely can stay, but if you feel like that person is going to be less likely to want to share in front of you, the cool thing is we have 4 workshops of each topic. So while 4 workshops are going at the same time. Okay. So you can go into another workshop and say, I'm going to let you have this one. Right. I'm going to go sit in this other one. And every time we have these workshops, there are 4 going simultaneously so that you can pick the one that's going to be, best for you. I will tell you, even our photographers and the people working the event, I didn't have to be on them because they've sat down.
Caught up. Caught up. I can imagine. Yeah.
So I wouldn't tell you not to miss out on something that could be helpful for you too.
Right. Absolutely. I think when we talk also on the note of what, from your experience, have you seen where someone has taken someone else, just kind of ushering them into, how you usher somebody into the presence of the Lord? You just come to church with us, and God just, from your experience, have you seen someone that go with them that has been successful? Maybe in the beginning they're a little reluctant to go with them, but have you seen the experience that it's actually worked pretty good, that they actually attended that session with them?
Absolutely. We do have a lot of people who come in pairs. We have testimonials from people who came because someone invited them. And I will tell you, that's why I say it's something you got to experience. When people said, oh, I came because so-and-so invited me and I had no idea, right?
Yeah.
I think the beautiful thing about, let's say for you, for example, you coming with your daughter, is as long as you are not, you're there with her, but you're there beside her, right? You're not only there for her. And so our facilitators are dynamic.
Okay.
I think that you will get caught up enough that she doesn't have to feel like you're sitting there scrutinizing her. And you're there for you, but then you guys get to come away and talk about what y'all experienced together, and then that support, because the both of you were there, is also powerful. It's just it's embodied. It's just happening in the atmosphere.
Good stuff. Well, listen, I want to thank you for calling me the other week and saying, Deville, we need to put this on the radio. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it, right? Yes. And anytime, I want to lay my platform open. Anytime you're doing anything. And community-based, I am always a part of the community. We give back so much. The reason I started my solar marketing with Deville Solar Marketing and Deville Realty Group is because I got tired of people paying other people's mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. And you're paying their mortgage off, and they sell the house, and you got to move. So I said, I got to find a way to help people get their own home. Well, what was the biggest issues? The money down. I'm like, if I could solve that. So you're telling me if I could find a way to sell your house with no money down, you would buy it? They said, absolutely. And so I started looking around till I became the guru of no money down, right? And now I'm talking, let's fire NV Energy. Have you opened up your energy bill lately?
I live in California, but I know how high it is. You know, my mama tells me.
Oh, my goodness. It is ridiculous. Since 2021, we've gone up 54.2%. And I thought, well, if I'm going to give you keys, you're going to fire your landlord. You're going to fire NV Energy, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not getting another bill. You're doing away with the bill. So with our giving back and with your giving back, I think this platform is ideal. So I want to promote it. We're going to share it. We're going to continue to share it. I'm asking you and your network to share it, to get this out so that now, what's your capacity? Do you have a limit? How many people can get into the rooms? I mean, what is?
We do have a limit of 140 people. Oh. And that's because, like I said, we keeping the workshops. It's not just, make the biggest conference. It's make the most effective experience, right? Right. And so because we only have those 4 workshops going, about 25, 30 max, right? That's pushing it. So that leaves us at that limit about 120 to 140 people.
So we need to register so we know when registration gets cut off.
Yes.
And you plan to cut it off when?
We will cut it off a week before or when it fills up. When you go register, you'll see how many tickets are left. Oh. And, it'll close. It'll close. Oh, so we need this. And like I said, what's important, I'm sure you understand this being a businessman in real estate, is that when people because we did it 4 times for free. Okay. No, yeah. When people put something in, they got a little bit more investment. Mm-hmm. And exactly. So that was also part of the push for the cost. Because if I had it my way, I'm like you. I'm like, God, we don't need no more barriers. Let's let these folks come and get this for free. Yeah. But I know that them putting something is important. However, if we can get, like I said, these churches or businesses to say, I know these 10 people, then now because they have the relationship with you, they probably will show up more than, people just registering and then on the day, I don't feel like it and not coming. Right. Okay, good stuff. I'm definitely going to speak to a few of my family members that I personally know, and I'm going to be in attendance so that I can not only make sure they get there, but they get in the building on the event. Now, I can't promise you I can get them both days, but definitely that's Saturday, right? Because what happens, when people get into these mindsets of where they are, church is like the last thing. So I can get you either day. So I'd rather get you on the Saturday, right? 8:30, and starting at 9. What is the goes till 4
p.m. Okay, good deal. So I need to tell them, listen, I need you 9 to 4.
You need to be prepared, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't really want to leave. It moves fast. The workshops are, but it is a commitment. Yeah, but I promise you that you will not regret it. I have people all the time who said, I came just to support you. Oh my God, I needed this, right?
Right. So, absolutely.
I do want to mention Thursday. Not that everybody needs to come to that. Okay. But we, that's the Stellar Awards weekend. So let this be your Stellar Award weekend event during the day. But we will be at Doolittle with Bear Tag Entertainment for a celebrity basketball game
on Thursday.
They will be, that Lamont Samuels is invested in mental health as a musician and entertainer. So the Change will be out supporting at the celebrity basketball game on Thursday night. But Saturday. And for those who want to get them some prayer and worship with Arya and Kate, come on in on Friday.
Okay, good stuff. I'm loving it. Like I said, I just need to be able to get that commitment from 9 to 4. Just give me 9 to 4, and I assure you, you'll be glad you did. So that's the way I'm selling it. That's the way I'm
Thank
selling,
you.
9 to 4, because I believe it's really needed. Because if you look at people, they look normal, but inside they're dealing with issues in their lives, and to have someone like you who's willing to talk about it and get others to come out and let's talk about it. We did the Wealth Mindset Conference, and I had a man cave session. In the man cave session, we had people who talked about men stuff, only men, right? We had the women over in that conference. I had 2 conference rooms, and the men cave, I got reports. This just a couple of days ago, one brother texted me. He said, Deville, thank you for your conference. He said, I did my colonoscopy. He said, I had been putting it off. He said, but your conference has left impact. So that makes 4 men since April 16th thus far have gotten something done with their men's health, right?
Yes.
I wanted the men's because I just want to speak to the men about issues that are valuable, like you're speaking to people with the mental issues. That's very valuable. So I'm listen.
And listen, like, we can't build wealth if we're not feeling well in our mind and in our body, and we can't pass on that wealth. And my brother attended your conference, and he's young, and really, really enjoyed it. And I only heard wonderful things. And I'm just always thankful when other people are doing their part. We all got our role.
Stay in your lane and know that what God gave you, nobody else can do. Well, others probably can, but not the way that God has given it to you to do. And so we want to appreciate one another. Thank you for pouring back, because like for us, the conference wasn't about money. We didn't make any money. It was about pouring in, and to hear men say, man, I did my colonoscopy, or I did my PSA level to see where I'm at, right? That was because I only wanted the men's conference. My wife wanted the ladies. She said, well, let's combine them, because I was doing a men's conference because I think you can make all this money and die leaving it here. Right? I've seen so many men who prostate cancer has taken them out. They made a lot of money, but they couldn't fix that. Yeah. They couldn't pay to get that right. And so if we do preventive measure, and let's look into it soon. Let's talk about mental health. Let's look into it soon before somebody walks out of their mind and walks into a moving vehicle.
Yes.
Today on my way here, a lady running across the street between cars. Literally, the truck stopped within seconds. Just
and
homeless.
You like, what is going on? You see all this stuff, real life, social media, and you're like, this is real. And I'll tell you this, and I know you're going to be wrapping up your show, but a lot of people, these spaces are important because, people say we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Mr. Deville, I've never had an issue getting folks to talk about it. But the difference is I'm talking about it.
Yes.
So because I'm talking about it, they're like, oh, it's okay.
Yes.
She understands I'm not going to be judged. And it's the same way that what happened in your conference, because you talked about it.
Exactly.
It's like this relief. And so that's why being in these spaces are so critical, because you ain't got to be the first one. You don't have to say anything. You could just sit and listen, let somebody plant the seeds, someone else water it, and trust God for your increase.
There you go. There you go. We could go on and on, but my engineer is about to give me the hand. I already know she's got the ink pen about ready. The whiteboard is coming out.
Well, thank you so much.
And we gotta get together again. If your list doesn't fill up before the 14th, let's talk that week prior. Let's talk July 7th. Now you got to call. You got to get with me.
I will.
Okay. If you still have space available, let's do this again. We'll do it on my other show, perhaps. That's a different audience. But we're going to share this on Facebook. Tell your friends to share it. We're probably. I'm assuming you're probably going to get filled before the 7th. You probably 140 people. Yeah, that's.
We gonna trust God. Like speak into it.
I believe 100. Yeah, but I believe 140 people on this. Yeah, I don't. This is powerful. If we who have family members would only give of our time, our resources to say, "Come go with me." I got something. It's only 9 to 4. I'm not gonna push them for Saturday because I'm doing too much. Because the real one is on Saturday when I could get you to just think about what you're dealing with. Let's talk about it. Let's. Come go with me. And I'm so excited to tell my daughter today. I'm saying, babe, I got an event. I want you to come, put it on your calendar. And I don't want nothing I don't even want the devil to make you change your mind. Let's just go. And so thank you, Ms. Mingo, for coming out this afternoon, taking the time studio-wise to share with us, the community. And again, touch bases with me in July. Let's talk again. And if we only have so much room for so many more, let's look at taking those last tickets. I believe if you don't have them done, let's talk about it around the 7th.
Okay.
Because we have a platform that we can get enough people to sponsor, and we can just invite people. That's what I did at the conference. So we had enough. The venues were paid. Everything was food. Everything was done. We just needed bodies.
Just come.
We just needed. That's it. We were just tickets were $249. Tickets were $149. VIP was $249. Listen, we had enough sponsors. I was going to the barbershop. Look, I need 5 of you guys over here. And listen, we had more than. So
Glory.
When we know the number, guess what? We just go for it. We just get people to come. We want to do that. I know sometimes pastors, for me to call certain people out in the audience, like, well, why'd you think I need it? That could be a little tough, but we're going to share it in our ministry. We'll talk about it for those who feel like they may need, now getting people to admit that, is that something?
I think the conversation is, hey, there's this wonderful conference. Okay. Everybody could benefit from this knowledge.
Okay.
We're all just a few interactions and transactions away from being that person on the street. Like, if we're honest, right?
Right.
So, like you said, if it's not you, but one of the things I always say, maybe someone you know, right?
That's it. Give us that number again. I love it. Your energy is phenomenal. Healing to Health. Give us that information. Give us that number to reach out. So everybody's not tech savvy or internet savvy, but give us a contact. We can order those tickets. Is it on Eventbrite?
It is on the website. If you
on
go
the
to
website.
solutionofchange.org,
solutionofchange.org,
you can go onto the website.
Okay.
So solutions with an S at the end of change.org. But if you call that office, our team is very hands-on. Like you said, if you can't register online, we'll do it for you. Give us your name. Yeah. We're not, we need to cover our costs, but like you said, we don't want any barriers for folks. If you're serious about coming, you can come. And that's 702-445-6937, and just call us anytime between 9 and 5, Monday through Friday. And if y'all reach out to me on Facebook, I'm accessible. We gonna find a way. If you tell me you called and you ain't get a call back, or somebody didn't answer, reach out to Danisha Mingo, and we're also on social media. We will ensure that you get the response you need.
There you go. Well, again, Ms. Mingo, thank you so much for coming on my show, the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate Show, right here at Hot 102.5 FM, every 3 to 4 p.m. on every Thursday. I'm in the studio sharing more great information. So, again, thank you very much.
Bless you.
I'm excited for what's coming. Thank you, and God bless. All right, Las Vegas. Look, I've got to get out of the air chair. My engineer she's putting me out. She told me somebody else was next. I could go on because we got more information. I'm not out of information. I'm just out of time. So until I talk to you again next week, listen, have a great, safe weekend. Have fun. Enjoy the weather. Go out on the lake, sit on the boat, do what you got to do, but enjoy what you do. And until I talk to you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m., have a great weekend. May God's best be yours. Take care.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip.